Yo, welcome back to the GM Podcast. I'm Miller.
I'm Gav.
And today, we have Game 5 of the NBA Finals about to commence, and we're about to talk about that. So, first thing I want to talk about, Game 4, it was a great game. But,
Amazing game.
The outlook of it, you wouldn't think so. If you hopped on social media, Twitter, Instagram, you wouldn't have thought this was a great game because the main story was the late game refereeing and really the whole game of officiating.
I would say whole game.
And but most people focused on, Shea
course,
because
always.
that's been the problem. So let me know your thoughts about that. Do you think Scott Foster was a problem in this game? And do you think this is a problem that the NBA needs to address? And do you think this should have a negative impact on Shea going forward on his legacy and stuff like that?
No, not at all. I think
I just asked you 3 questions, so good. Answer that last one first.
I got you. I got all of them. Though. I think that it's like I remember asking you in the middle of the game, like, you think the NBA should rotate referees, or you think they should have just finals NBAs? Yeah. And I agreed with you, like, yeah, they should rotate because that's a skill in coaching, a skill in players adapting to some games. It's gonna get called tight.
It's gonna be different.
I would say it was called very tight.
Yes.
OKC does a lot of on off ball, on ball screen. They do a lot of holding and things of that nature, almost daring the ref to call it.
Yeah.
And finally, the ref called it.
Yes.
And as much of, I wanted to see a great game, I'm not cheering for a team. I just wanted to go 7. I said that I really want this to go 7.
Absolutely.
And I think it is. But they just started calling it because when you look back at it, like, it wasn't like too many plays where OKC blows it. He was holding.
Yes.
Or it's like, we're blowing the whistle again.
That's a good point.
Well, he was pushing.
Exactly.
Like, it's like when they replay it, there was not really much to argue with. The viral clip of Shea traveling with a push-off.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
It's 2 points. There's been a lot of missed calls in NBA history.
Yeah.
It was a bad time to miss the call. Boo-hoo.
And also, objectively, people broke down the play. Gather step, whatever you want to call it, is what it was. And Nesmith tripped over his feet.
Yeah.
In the clip. So,
and
by the way, Shea does that little chicken arm where he doesn't fully extend.
And he did that time.
And he did it that time.
He did fully extend that time.
Yeah, he did. No, he did. He didn't.
Once again, it's a missed call.
Yeah.
If he did it every play, I would have a problem with it. But he usually doesn't.
Yeah.
He usually just stays here.
Yeah.
I disagreed with it, but it's one call. Like, that's not what lost you the game. I think as fans and players, we have to reflect, like, why are we not talking about Benedict Mather missing 3 free throws?
Yes.
That was more points than
after they get a steal on a fast break. If he makes all four of those free throws, you're talking about another Indiana
we're talking
comeback
about
situation.
Halliburton with the ball tied up.
Yeah,
there's like an 80% chance he hits that. Like, no, there literally is, and there's enough data to back that up.
I mean, it's 100 right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I would just say, like, and on top of that, Scott Foster gets a bad rep. Maybe that's just how he calls. If he sees a foul, he calls a foul.
Yeah.
He's by the book.
Absolutely.
There's no gray area. Like, if you pushed him, you pushed him. When a lot of fans are like, let him play. It's the NBA Finals. Okay, cool. But, I mean, he didn't break anything in the NBA foul rule.
No, exactly.
It was a foul.
And I'm glad you said that because a lot of the narrative has been like, well, if you're going to call this, why didn't you call the clear hold? Bro, these games are only going to get more and more physical because at this point, these teams don't like each other. They are annoyed of each other. They are tired of seeing each other. That's how it's going to be. It's only going to be more physical. And the Thunder, unfortunately, whether you like them or not, and most of you probably don't, they have set the tone of playing hard defense and making the refs be in bad situations. And guess what? Every team they have played this postseason has tried to amp up their physicality. And honestly, if you watch the series right now, that's happening. Indiana has upped that physicality, which is why they're tied 2-2. And if you watch in the backcourt every time, Nembhard and Nesmith are pulling Shea from letting him get the ball every time as well. So we're picking and choosing because we're seeing greatness. But my problem is when young Braun was coming up, there was hate from people who just wanted to hate, but as far as the player, you weren't hating. Young KD, you was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Young Steph, we've never seen this before. Young Ant, this kid is going to be Michael Jordan.
Yeah, the young stuff,
young Giannis. People love Giannis. Giannis was a great guy. I do get confused on why when it comes to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, there's almost like a leap to hate on him. And maybe that is just because of the foul baiting.
It's the style. It's the style. It's the boring style. Well, it's not boring to me, but it's boring to. It's boring to. There's a lot of fans that just think dunk, 3-pointer.
I don't think it's the gameplay though. I think it's after he makes his bucket. Where is your charisma? Like why are you
even that though? There's no elite athleticism. There's no elite
there
three
is,
ball.
though. I mean, I seriously see
not on all time.
All time, absolutely.
He doesn't have Anthony Edwards, Tracy McGrady. He doesn't have that.
Yes, he does.
Athleticism.
He has an Allen Iverson way of slithering in between.
I'm talking about bro,
just the dunk.
I'm talking about people without ball knowledge who watching a game like Vince Carter.
But that's my thing.
I'm not talking. I know yes, he has athleticism. I'm saying he doesn't have all time East Bay.
He doesn't.
He doesn't, and that's what a lot of fans who don't know a lot of ball, and you gotta really. Yes, I know he's an elite athlete. He can dunk. He can do all these things, but he's not off the charts. Michael Jordan jumping from the free throw line. Yes, you're right. He's slithery. He's quick.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Those type of things.
I understand that he's not the most athletic as far as above the rim.
Yeah, that's what I'm
definitely.
saying.
Actually, only above the rim if we're talking about athleticism, because everywhere else, I mean, he's a 6'6" wing. Yeah. But I don't see it as a Tim Duncan and Kawhi Leonard situation to where their game is literally one dribble pull up and it's going to be that easy for them every night in and night out. His bag, first off, it is easy for him. It is consistent for him, but it's a guy that if you want to give it to him on a nail, he can make something happen. On an elbow, he going to make something happen. Top of the key, he going to make something happen. If he wants to break down a defender and it's going to be a shifty move, it's going to make something happen. When he gets the opportunity to get a catch and shoot three, which he doesn't take in game 4, in under 3 minutes left in clutch time, he hits a three and no energy about it. You don't hear about the clutchness of what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 15 points
the last 16.
in the last quarter for them to keep their season alive, essentially.
Yeah.
And you don't hear about the great fourth quarter performance, the great legacy defining, cementing performance like you hear about with LeBron, KD, Steph, or not Ant. Ant hasn't been there yet. But you don't hear about that. You hear
about Ant more than Sim still.
You still hear about Ant more than Shai.
And I think, I'm telling you, I said this exact thing with Tatum. We rush these players too much.
Yes.
And we want
instant gratification.
But LeBron was not doing this at 26.
No.
He was not doing this in the NBA Finals. He was actually playing mid. Very, very mid.
Yes.
For a 1A. A lot of these players weren't doing this.
No.
So when I see the criticism of Tatum last year, I see the criticism of Shai this year. It's because but the average fan is they're not watching the game. The average fan is on TikTok.
I honestly agree with that.
The average fan is on Twitter. They're on Reels, and they're just watching, foul bait, and I hate that. I hate this. I hate that. But when you really watch the game, you'll gain true appreciation, and if you know the game, of his skill.
Absolutely.
His elite skill, 3-level scoring. I do think, yes, 35 points. I do, once again, think that if Shai played exactly how he played, Indiana is cool with that. From a standpoint of
I agree.
0 assists.
Yeah.
And you had a great close. That hasn't...
Well, they can't let him do that in the fourth, but
they can't let him do that in the fourth, but
yes.
I was just saying he's not doing that again in the fourth. He might have a great fourth. Because the game before, he only had 2 points and whatever in the fourth. So it's not like a Halliburton thing where it's like, oh my God, late fourth quarter, he's going to whatever. But I just think, once again, I think fans are just... It's almost like we hate new.
So, man,
we hate new, and honestly, it seems like there's a crowd that's just mad because Curry, Katie, and Bron aren't there anymore, and they're like, I hear a lot of people say, I'm not watching the game. If you're really watching this NBA Finals, you can't give me a better NBA Finals since 2016, and I will argue that there's not a better Finals.
No.
This could end in 6. It is still a better Finals since 2016. If it ends in 7 and it ends in 7 on a good note,
I agree.
It might be the best since Timmy D and
LeBron.
Exactly.
Games. Yeah.
So, and if it ends in an even more leeway if it ends in a game winner with Halliburton or Shai or something like that, it will be. You could argue it'll be up there with the 2000s. It's the best.
Like top 5 of this century for sure, at least.
Yes.
And my thing is, I think when you see a comment online that's negative, when you see a post online that's negative that highlights the foul baiting, that thought gets spread into everybody's brain. And since social media is so much more accessible, thoughts are more easily spread, more easily contagious. Negative thoughts, especially, are very easily contagious. So my advice to NBA viewers and people who even have the slightest interest of having fun watching the game is to try to have fun while you're watching a game. Because while me and Gavin are watching this game at my crib the other day, we are just amazed, enthralled by what is happening by the two basketball teams that are playing against each other, because these are two different type of teams that we have never seen before with two different stars, and you can only look at that in a positive manner in my eyes.
Me personally, I feel like so excited for the next 10 to 15 years, because if the CBA stays the same, we could really have talks about players like we did Hakeem, like we did Jordan.
Yes.
In a standpoint of Orlando, Paulo might stay there forever now.
Yes.
You know, they're making moves.
Yes.
Giannis, man, ride it out with the Bucks. I would love to see that.
Absolutely.
As much as, like, people saying, I want to see, man, Giannis going to the Rockets or the like, Giannis going to the Thunder is...
That's the worst idea.
That's one of the most boring...
Look, bro.
Shea and Giannis, like, it's almost like if Luka teamed up with Jokic, like, things like that, like, that is boring.
No, yeah, that's not... It's like... You can't pair top 15 players and expect to have... When KD and Curry joined, the basketball fan wasn't... Well, first off, I was an Oklahoma City fan, so I was mad at KD for that. And then double that, I know ain't nobody messing with Curry and KD. Like, you at the end of the day, you know, like, that.
Even Kawhi, as much as I give him praise for his ring, bro, there was no chance if everyone was healthy that they would win. Even there would be no chance they would touch a game 6.
Kawhi is so highly thought, and we think of Kawhi 2019 Kawhi higher than most people. I'd say 90% of people do. But he is boosted because of his Eastern Conference playoff run, not because he beat the Warriors in the finals.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not why you're talking about 2019 Kawhi. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, either you go into this game scoping for Shea foul baiting, and you know the lack of stars that Indiana has, and you know you might see a ref that you don't like, and that's going to determine your move for the game, or you can go into it and be like, okay, I get to watch a 30-point per game score tonight. I get to watch a 2000s point guard tonight. I get to watch them clash in a battle of team basketball, in a battle in the finals where we haven't had a great finals, and I'll just say great, since I think the Bucks and Suns. And before then,
I wouldn't call that great. I would call that good. I wouldn't call that great. I would call it good.
I have so many
like the Bucks won 4 in a row.
Like, yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. So let's just say, like you said, 2016.
Yeah.
So, like I said, this is 9 years later. We're being gifted a finals where all of the games have been decently close.
And it keeps getting better. As much as I'm sorry, the OKC fans and the OKC people who just think they are so much better than Indiana, you're not that much better. You are better. You are more talented. Your coach the coaching gap is so far. The coaching gap is huge.
I agree with that.
And the talent gap is a good gap. Like, y'all have more talent. But once again, the styles is just...
I think
y'all look... It looks like their styles out-styling y'all. Y'all just, once again... I had the more talented player with 5 minutes to go, because if Shea doesn't have that run, you're down 3-1.
And I'm glad you clarified right there, because honestly, I don't think OKC is a more talented team. Yeah. I think they have a
superstar 1A. Exactly.
They have the 1A, and that's the difference.
Yeah, I think Shea is almost like if Kyrie was less fancy, like the 1A version of him. Very skilled, can score from any part of the better.
Yes.
Can score from any place on the court, but just like ultra skilled, like no holes in his game. Only thing I would say Kyrie has on him is the handle, probably, maybe finishing. But
and I think if we're arguing styles, I think as far as just basketball styles of teams ever, Indiana might have the best style.
No, there's a lot of teams you can go back in NBA history, and they would that won the finals, and they wouldn't beat this Indiana team.
Yeah, and it's hard for people to hear that, because, like we said, they don't have a 1-8.
Yeah.
But the offensive system they run, having 8 guys that religiously can put the ball in the basket, even though Benedict Mathurin had the 3 missed free throws, he's going to be a bucket. We've been talking about this for a while.
Before that.
He won.
And the thing about it is with Indiana, and we'll talk about Orlando in a second.
Yeah.
intertwine into that, but they're not going anywhere. Like Benedict Mathurin, the scary part is he's actually gonna be that like in 2 years.
Yes.
Like he's actually
all-star.
Like he's gonna be an all-star level player. Like he's actually gonna be getting 22 a game.
Yes.
Like a legit 22 elite wings. Like so
who's gonna get
as of right now, it's on some like Jordan Poole, he might go off, he might not type of like that's what he's not gonna be like he's actually I project him to be an actual consistent starting level, and that's not even to talk about when you have Nembhard and Halliburton and Benedict Mathurin and keeping TJ McConnell around. I mean, that's a backcourt that, like,
Benedict Mathurin gives me very much. He plays, in my opinion, like Jaylen Brown, and it gives me. He's kind of like a Donovan Mitchell. How he acts, in my opinion, like watching the game. That's the two. Those are the guys he reminds me of.
I like his demeanor more than Donovan Mitchell. Like demeanor, I like his demeanor more. I don't like.
By the way, I thought of something very interesting today. So, out of the 4 foul grifting guards of today's age,
right?
I feel like every ball watcher only likes 2 of them. And so, let me throw this out there. Let's talk about James Harden, Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And by like, I mean, everybody has their guys that they like enjoy watching rather than other people. Me personally, I don't enjoy watching James Harden and Luka Doncic play basketball because of other things. I love Jalen Brunson and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and I thought about your perspective and your 2 guys that you probably like I think you're a Shai guy and you're a Luka guy.
Yeah.
And you don't like Brunson and Harden.
Yeah.
So I wonder, just leave in the comment section.
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Like, do you only like 2 of those guys, of those ball dominant guards? And those guys have a lot of fluctuation between whether the fans like them or
like all 4. Like I know someone. Like my man's Nigel probably like all 4.
He probably likes all 4. Well, do you think so?
Yeah, my Nigel likes all 4.
As a ball watcher, you like watching all 4. I think their fluctuation and because
there's definitely like a gap.
But I think those 4.
I know for Nigel it would be Shai and Harden.
Yeah, that makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense. I feel like Shai and Harden will be the 2 for most guys. But I just think those 4 have a fluctuation in which they are the system to where you have to be more of an ISO solo or just respect how they score to appreciate them.
And I said this with Brunson because at first you didn't understand me, and I feel like you started to understand me when I fully explained. But the thing that with Brunson and Harden, so with Harden, it's bad defense, but it's also his playmaking. I'm not gonna say his playmaking is overrated, but he passes just to get assists.
Yes,
he's not pitching.
Yes,
like so.
Yes,
while Luka is actually like that as a playmaker.
Yeah,
and he was number 1 in points, number 1 in rebounds, number 1 in assists, number 1 in steals.
He's the best.
Like he was like last year, he was number 1 in everything in the playoffs.
Yes.
Like every statistical category, he was number 1 in.
Yeah,
even steals, even blocks.
Yeah,
like. As bad as we said his defense was, like he still made, defensive plays. He didn't look bad. No one was talking about his defense till he played 5 20-point per game guys on the Boston Celtics, who you could argue it's them and the KD Warriors for the last 25 years of teams.
Absolutely.
So I feel like that series just drugged people the wrong way. There's a lot of, I'm not saying it would look as bad as Luka. There's a lot of players who would look mad stupid against Boston.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of players all the time that look mad stupid. And I think that's just what it is. I think Brunson is just as good of a scorer in the playoffs as them. But once again, I think literally for me, it's just the playmaking. And then on top of that, I'm not going to lie, I don't mind foul baiting for a shot.
Oh, yeah.
When you're foul baiting
50
feet away from the basket and you're just diving into the front row, and it really makes me as a ref, want the ref just to be just to not call it to make them look stupid.
Yeah.
That's what will stop some of this foul baiting.
Absolutely.
Even Shai has stopped it in this series at certain points because he just didn't get the call.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, all right, if
he's always going to do it.
If you just swallow the whistle when he's obviously looking for something that's not there, it'll slow it down for sure.
Yeah.
It'll slow it down for sure.
I think with Harden, what it was for me is just the playoffs.
Yeah, no, that too.
I'm a guy that cannot respect you if you don't step up in big moments. That's just me. So that for Harden,
I don't even think you got to. I think if Harden, as good as he was in regular season, if you just stayed the same, we would have been fine.
Oh yeah, bro. I remember when Harden hit like a step back 3-1 versus the Warriors. I don't know if you remember that, where it was like contested. Clay was coming for the contest, and he had like sandwiched and he threw it up. And I was like, Harden is so nice. Like,
if you're talking about regular season, like, bro, he's the nicest.
Yeah, and it's not like you didn't like watching Harden.
No, you did.
But with Luka, for me, it is the defensive aspect. It's not that you can't guard. It's not that you can't guard. It's that you have multiple lapses of zero effort, and that's my thing. Jalen Brunson is always going to get scored on because he's a baby. Like that's gonna happen, and I do understand I can completely understand why you don't like Jalen Brunson. By the way, like I understand why a lot of people don't like Jalen Brunson. And once again, I understand.
And I think I would like him if he changed. Just like I'm cool with the no defense because he gives a little bit of effort.
Yeah, exactly. So if their system changes and they have an offensive coach that makes him more into a point guard, will you appreciate Jalen Brunson more? Is that what it is?
I think I might like him a little more. Yeah, and I also think like. I don't know if he can be he needs someone to handle the first 3 quarters for him.
And he just be the closer?
I think like that's why I said like
I mean he has somebody right now.
I didn't hate the Giannis fit. Like I did not hate the Giannis fit. Bro. Like that gives like watered down Shaq and Kobe. Like,
I mean, they did fire Thibodeau, so it makes sense, and they'll find the depth that they need to find as well. I agree with that, and that's really not even watered down Shaq and Kobe because Kobe at that point probably was the same as Brunson. And then, Giannis is Giannis. Giannis is just as dominant as Shaq was in his time because there's not a lot of bigs that can guard
Especially
Giannis.
With a lot of the skinny build bigs in today's era.
That's what he's going against. I mean, against Indiana, what was he averaging? 35 a game?
Yeah.
If he could have put together a playoff run, we're talking, I mean, his guy's different.
Want to go Orlando?
Yeah, let's talk about that. First, who do you have winning tonight in Game 5 and tell me why? Okay.
I don't think either team will win an away game.
Yeah.
I think it's y'all's finals to lose. There's more pressure on y'all, I think, which is scary. I
agree.
And I'm not gonna lie, even though the way last game went, I still will trust Indiana more in a close game, late game. I just will with their offense, and they're just even going to the conference finals last year. This group has been there together, and they're older.
Man, the Pacers, I feel like have had the benefit of playing with house money this entire playoffs.
Well, they've never. One thing that has to be talked about and scared about tonight. I mean, the Pacers have never been down in a series this year.
No, they haven't.
But they're best with their backs against the wall, though. It's the weirdest thing.
You know, both of these teams haven't lost back-to-back games since April, and it was the Thunder that actually most recently lost a back-to-back game. Yeah. So it's if that's the case,
it's not. I don't think there's. I think this series is done with blowouts as well.
Yeah.
If it were, it would be this OKC game. I don't think it would be the Game 7. I think it would be this OKC game.
I agree.
That would be a blowout, but I don't think it will be. I just think... I think the Pacers, just because they lost, I'm not going to just blow away that loss. I saw some great things.
Yeah.
I saw a really tired OKC team that looked... And I don't know, is J-Dub going to get 30? Now, granted, the scout has it to where he should just do that every night now.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Because of the way they're guarding Shea. So, but if J-Dub has one of his classic bad games, even though he's been playing great this series, and Shea gives tired and, if he had 10, not 15. If he had the last 10
our defense got us through that game by itself. I mean, that's what the superpower is, and that travels.
Exactly.
So we needed that.
So, I think I like what I saw from Indiana. If they could bring that, have some role players step up. It just needs to be 2 guys get hot from 3. It don't have to be all of them. Whether it's Nesmith, Nesmith's due for a solid game. So I wouldn't call this game a blowout, but I think no team's gonna win an away game.
Yeah,
I don't think any team's gonna win an away game the rest of the series.
I do think that their loss in Game 4 was horrible. You couldn't lose that game because I thought that was their finals. That was their Game 7 right there, in my opinion, because
I still give them a chance. I'm not going to lie.
See, I do, but like you said, you have to win in OKC at least one time.
Yeah. And they've done that.
And they have after, something catastrophic.
And once again, y'all did the same thing. That's why I don't think y'all win Game 6.
I think we've been growing throughout every single playoff series, and I do believe that we are the more talented team, and I think we are just getting better. And I think last game in the fashion that we wanted, and coming back on the comeback kids, that is a mind twister in my opinion, to where that little bit of belief that Indiana has. Well, Indiana's gonna have belief for the rest of this final because they have house money. But I'm saying the belief goes down a little bit when they knew, everybody in that building knew, and everybody watching knew that if you win that game right there, it's probably the series.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's a tough, sucky loss, but I just like what I saw from Indiana in both home games. And it just tells me, like, and I like what I saw from OKC in both home games.
Yeah.
And it's just telling me, like, OKC, they're going to play, all the guys going to show up, the role players. You're going to start seeing, like, Isaiah Joe, Wiggins, like, people like that show up at home.
Yeah.
That's the type of guys you see show up at home, which is why I have them tonight. But then going back to Indiana, down 3-2, man, they going to give it their best shot. They're going to send it back to OKC for Game 7. OKC is not a must win. Like, you get to go back to the crib Game 7, which is why I think this is going 7.
That makes sense.
OKC winning by 5 to 10 points in Game 7.
Okay. Well, I mean, I still have OKC in 6. I got to stick to my guns. But let's talk about a recent trade that happened yesterday in the NBA world. The Magic acquired Desmond Bane for, I believe, Cole Anthony, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and 4 first-round picks, and probably something else. I don't know. Yeah. But that's the base of the trade. I want to know, who do you think won this trade? And do you think the Magic are contenders for next season?
I think they are 1 or 2 pieces away from being contenders. And when I say pieces, I mean offensive.
Yes.
And it could be a role player. It could be a role player.
It could be Fran's development.
Yeah, it could be, and it still needs to be 1 more, though.
Yeah.
Franz and Paolo, as much as I don't think they complement each other, that puts a lot of pressure on the rim. I will say that. A lot of pressure on the rim. And I'm going to take credit. I beat everyone to Paolo. Like
you did.
I'm gonna beat them again. He is that. Like, he in the playoffs as well. He is that. Like,
I don't know.
Like, in the first round against Boston, showed up like buckets, 30 plus.
Cavs last year,
Game 7, 36 point, whatever, like almost triple double. He shows up in the playoffs and he is that. And he's elite. He's elite every time I watch him in the playoffs.
Okay, let me add. It's like, first off, I just want to ask you this. Who do you think will win a championship first, Paolo or Cade?
Paolo or Cade?
It's
tough. It would be easier for me to answer that when this offseason's over.
When it's done, yeah.
But as of right now, Orlando's a better team. As of right now, Orlando's a better team than Detroit. I think they're elite defensively.
Yeah.
And they didn't get worse. Like, Desmond Bane is a perfect fit. The only thing I didn't like about it, I thought they overpaid a little bit. Now, they had to add an extra first-rounder pick or 2 to get rid of KCP's terrible contract.
I mean, they weren't gonna win. Like, as a franchise, as a fan of a franchise, you want to see your team take big swings sometimes. So it's like, okay, you understand that it was a lot given up. But Desmond Bane is a freaking microwave. He can get hot in a second. He's been averaging 20 the last couple of years.
Playmaking's gotten much better. Like, when you start, like, he averaged over 5 assists. Like, that's not like a weak playmaker.
Absolutely.
Like, that's a solid playmaker. I like Anthony Black's development. I like what I saw from him in some spurts against Boston.
I also like Cole Anthony, but you got to live with that.
100%. Suggs, you still if he was healthy, like
you still got Wendell Carter and Jonathan.
Carter.
This team, first off, this team's gonna be able to guard.
This team really is gonna be able to guard and play defense.
I told you the other day, I think they do match up well with Indiana because I just saw them playing a series versus Boston. And while Boston ran through them in 5 games, it wasn't the easiest 5 games. And Boston was a much better team, but it's just on one side of the floor, Orlando has certain stretches like the Oklahoma City Thunder. I believe Orlando was second in defense this year, where they can shut you down for about a 4 to 5 minute stretch. They can absolutely shut you down. And now you have a microwave, and then you're betting on the development of Paolo, who once again, I think even evolved as a mid-range shooter last year. He was much more comfortable, in my opinion.
Shoots 3 ball better in the playoffs. Like,
now it's about getting more comfortable and simplifying his game even more. Franz Wagner simplifying his game even more.
He can be dominant. Not as dominant as Giannis, but he could be one of the most dominant power forwards in the game currently.
Yes.
And on top of that, can hit the mid-range, hit the 3 ball a little bit from time to time, and make elite, defend. Like, he's an easy lead. And then, I think just a role player or 2 away, a signing away. Like, maybe you overpay for a guy a little bit, but I think they understand the window is now.
Yeah.
Weirdly with the Boston and
the East not the greatest.
Exactly. And we say it's not the greatest, but
it's tough to say because
because there's a world where they just won back-to-back championships in that conference or maybe more. Who won in
23? They didn't win back-to-back.
I'm saying I know Milwaukee won one. That's East.
Yeah, then Denver. And then it's been going back and forth.
Yeah, but it's a very elite conference. I just think we don't have the superstar power. We have teams. For instance, no one really still is going to be talking about Desmond Bane come playoff time.
No.
But when you watch the games, it's like, you know what I'm saying? All people want to talk about is the Western Conference big names, the Anthony Edwards, but a lot of those teams and players get overhyped. Even like the Spurs. I mean, they haven't done nothing yet.
No.
Like the Spurs, we get on OKC for not being there before, which they show at times. Yeah, we haven't been there before, but like the Spurs are going to have that same growing pain next year. No matter who they get.
So do you think they're winning the East next year?
I wouldn't pick them.
If you were to pick a way too early,
I would pick Indiana to win.
Okay.
And I'm not just gonna go by patterns and say it's been different every year. Like I would pick Indiana to come out. New York with a new coach. I think New York has a chance though if they get the right coach. But
dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been thinking about this a lot, and as I do, Orlando just keeps moving.
They do.
Up and up.
No, when you talk, them a shot,
and it's not even about their top three. It's about the fact that Jalen Suggs is that. Jonathan Isaac is that. And it's not as scores. It's when we talk about these cohesive teams that have been winning recent championships, them guys will do the exact thing their teams will need them to do. And now you're betting on Paolo, once again, Franz, and Desmond Bane, who has already solidified it. You know what he's going to do. So it's like...
My thing is, like, the talent, it looks great on paper. I just think they might need an extra year. Like, I think
that makes sense.
Kind of like Indiana went to conference finals. Okay, now we're actually ready. We're not like... Because no one really thought Indiana was being Boston.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing. I think going from first round in 5 games, even though it's to Boston, but going from first round in 5 games just to the championship, I can't just give them that leap yet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think they can make an elite run. And then you're looking at them the following year like, oh, yeah, like, they're ready type of thing. While it's a little different with Detroit, like, yeah, you lost in the first round, but you lost to New York, and on top, which obviously New York's not better in Boston, even though Boston beat them, like fully healthy Boston.
But yeah, it was a better series. Though.
Yeah, it was a better series. They looked better.
If they call a foul, you're going to 7.
Exactly, and you never.
And
know.
New York ain't great at home.
They're not. So, I don't. So I would say, I don't hate the trade at all. I just think they're a piece or two away, and I don't know what their cap space and things look like for them to make moves in free agency or this offseason, but I love their defense. I think Desmond Bane is a perfect fit for them. I think if they could have took off 1 draft pick, it would have been better, but
it is. And one last question. This is going to be quick to end the video. Where do you want to see KD go?
Houston.
That's the place?
Instantly Houston. I think they lack shot making, perimeter scoring. If I'm the Suns, I know Devin Booker and Jalen Green would look not great. They don't complement each other, but
they probably go get Jabari Smith or something like that.
And that's the one I don't want to give up.
I wouldn't either.
Like, I would be finding a way. And if honestly, if I have to give up Jabari Smith, I don't want to talk about KD no more. Like, let's talk about another player we could trade for Jalen Green, because I mean, I would love to see Desmond Bane traded for Jalen Green and see that type of. That's very true. Like,
any type of shot, because that defense was amazing.
Exactly. If you can get a 2-way player for Jalen Green, I think. I mean, if Jalen Green shows up, averages 20 like he does, I mean, they could beat the Warriors.
And Jalen Green will help you in the regular season, no doubt, to get you to the playoff destination that you want. By the way, I want to see KD in Detroit. I need to see. I want to see KD in Detroit.
Yeah,
I want to see him play with KD.
But that's not realistic at all.
It's not. I mean,
like he already gave his list and everything. He said he didn't want to go play with Ant.
He said not Minnesota. What was the list?
He said Houston. Not Minnesota. It's Houston, San Antonio,
New York.
No, Houston, San Antonio.
Bro, KD, bro, just retire game.
Yeah, he's like picky with it. Houston, San Antonio.
KD, bro, you have Devin Booker right now. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it can't get much. That's my look. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get into that.
Miami.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to go into a rabbit hole of how Steph and LeBron are still leading their team.
Even with Miami, it's like they could like I think if KD was a free agent, and he signed with Miami, they wouldn't be contenders. Like,
yeah, I agree.
If he like they're not there yet.
They're not there.
So like going to Miami does what for you? Put up 20? Like you put up 20, you put up 30 a night, like, and do what?
Yo, Minnesota and Detroit should be at Detroit. I feel, bro. I don't get it. I don't get San Antonio even. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. If you do San Antonio, KD got to play the 3, not the 4.
Exactly.
Because if you have Wemby at the 5 and KD at the 4, you're getting
getting bullied inside, and it's KD. KD is just a lot of these teams aren't gonna want to overspend because we've seen LeBron and Steph carry their teams to the playoffs over and over again. Kevin Durant, you just had Devin Booker, bro. I don't care about the rest of the roster. I'm going to be honest. You have Devin Booker and Mike Budenholzer, who, regardless of what you want to say, is a championship-winning coach, and you couldn't go to the playoffs. Like, let's. These teams need to slow down and thinking of who are you really getting.
And I'm not. I just not
because it's two sides of the spectrum. The most cohesive team guy that you could put in any system is Kevin Durant. We both agree on that.
Another thing, like. Not to get off topic, but I think just, once again, fans overreacting to what they like to see. The Devin Booker gave everyone Kobe vibes, and a lot of people love Devin Booker. But Devin Booker is not, I don't know if he's a top 12 player. Like
he's top 15.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. He's top 15.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he's top 12. He's definitely not top 10.
No, he's not a 1A.
Exactly. And, like I said, I'm just not as big as a fan. I think a lot of people overreact a bunch. Even with Shea, like, I love Shea. He gives me all-time great vibes, but I just think people jump to things way too quickly in a world where I think the era of Curry and LeBron, really them two, just gave fans the thinking that going to a finals was just the easiest thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's a world where Jokic never even gets back.
And if you were to bet,
he probably wouldn't unless he bounces, but I don't think he would.
Nah.
But I do love this. I'm not gonna lie. I love to see. Hopefully, Halliburton stays there the rest of his career. Hopefully, Giannis stays there the rest of his career. Hopefully, Jokic, Paolo, all these guys, Tatum, retire. Like all these 1As. Like I just want to see. Like it would be amazing just to see all these guys play for a team, finish with that team. Like that's just I love that. It just gives. It's almost like when you think of the team, you think of that player.
Yes.
Like, it's almost like hard to. Like, if you're a KD fan, it has to just be weird. Like,
literally, like
it just has to be weird if that's your favorite player. I don't know how to put it.
I mean, when I was an OKC fan, he was my favorite player.
Yeah, he should have.
As soon as he left, it was done, and it's like as a player, I see what everybody else sees, but
it looks bad when you jump and you lose.
It does.
Like if you stay and lose,
and that's really what his career.
If you stay and lose, you'll get criticism, but when you retire, they'll just think about what you did great. And like for instance, Shea wins a ring this year, never wins one again, but he stays in OKC.
Oh, it don't matter.
Like people gonna talk about this run. Like as much as they wanted to win more, like people gonna talk about this run. While as much as Shea could get praised. If he started jumping around, and losing, it just looks bad.
That's how Harden and KD and even Kyrie maybe, even though Kyrie's kind of saved it last year.
Like imagine if Harden just stuck it out. He with this group.
Yeah, with Houston.
Like
and Giannis is already set for the rest of his life. He won the first championship in Milwaukee since Lou Alcindor. So it's like so he's set. So if you get one in a small market, it's not a lot to say. But
exactly.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys have a fun time watching Game 5. Let's try to have a fun time. And like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.